dun. You know, Tony, here we are sitting here in the green room. It's like the place to be of all the places is right here. And I never like to read the bio because when I'm in the green room, it's just you and I and some people to eavesdrop on our conversation. Take a moment, if you will, and tell me who is Tony and what is Tony Rodrigues up to these days?
Well, I mean, who am I? That's kind of a deep question. I am, I guess, in a way, living the American dream. My parents immigrated to this country from Portugal when I was 6 years old. So I was that kid trying to adapt and learn the language, and had my difficult challenges throughout that time. Did not have, I guess, your quintessential happy childhood. Bit of a violent, just a rough growing up. And I had a rough set in my teenage years. Thought about not being around anymore, and almost took action on that. On my 18th birthday, I had a massive car accident that shifted my life, and I just remember coming to in the hospital, looking down basically at my body, and saying, "Damn, who's going to tell my mom I'm dead?" And that was a real sobering moment for me. Because in one moment I was thinking about, well, 2 years prior, I was thinking about not being around anymore. And then here I am looking down at that. And that changed my life. Fortunately, I didn't die. And I came back out of it. And there's a bit of a story in that. We're not going to go, I don't think we have to go into all of it. But basically that shifted my perspective of who I used to be. I was a shy kid growing up, and I'd not lived. I realized that I died without having lived, and I decided shortly thereafter that if I was going to die tomorrow, I would live today. So, if it scared me, I did it. I was afraid of heights. I started scuba diving. I almost drowned a couple of times as a kid. I started scuba diving. I was afraid of heights. I started skydiving, and if it went fast, I strapped myself to it, and haven't looked back. And so it just that's a bit of who I am. I've been an entrepreneur for 30 years. Primarily around the real estate space, but I've been involved in a lot of businesses because of it. I bought the real estate, then I got sucked into the business, everything from a bar, restaurant, nightclub to an equestrian center with 44 stalls to construction company to owning and managing my own commercial and residential portfolios, having my own real estate office. I now own a coaching company. I'm starting a movement called GetUpNGrow, helping people grow through what they go through.
Wow.
And that's kind of in a nutshell. I've been in personal development for about 20 years. And the last couple of years, I've been a trainer with Tony Robbins.
Wow. Take a moment and talk about what we should expect on this particular episode. I know we're going to be talking about Get Up and Grow, but what's the conversation going to be centered around?
Right. Well, it's really about, so the concept of Get Up and Grow is helping people. The purpose of my life is to help ease suffering in the world, right? And that's through helping people grow through what they go through, because we all go through things, right? We all go through things in life, whether it's when you're a kid or in business or in your relationship or with your health or whatever it is, we're all going through things. And most people don't get up and grow. They just get up and go. Mm-hmm. And we need to get up and grow in order to stop going through the same things day in and day out.
That makes a lot of sense. I know when asked the question, where we are in the world today is certainly a place of uncertainty, times we've never seen before. I know you spent time studying personal development and also a number of years with the Tony Robbins organization. What are you telling your clients today in order for them to be able to peak perform regardless of what's going on around them?
Right. What I tell people is, right now we're in a pause, right? We're in a pause. And the thing to remember, and there's still a handful of businesses that are flourishing and doing well, right? Those that are prepared for it. I tell people all the time that, winter is coming, right? Prepare for winter. And right now we're in a moment of winter. And if you haven't prepared for it, then you're more uncomfortable than those who have prepared for it. But now's the time to start sowing the seeds for the harvest that you'll reap later. Innovation in marketing is business is all about innovation and marketing. right? And right now, you need to be marketing to the customer that you have, because we're going to come out of this. And when we come out of this, the economic engine is going to roar to life, and it's just going to go. And you've got to be ready to go, right? And so what I tell people is you've got to stay ready so you don't have to get ready, right? And you've got to think about how you can innovate your business now, right? What can you do now to innovate your business to be able to flourish even in times like this? Because innovation is usually sparked by necessity, and right now we're in a moment of necessity. So how can you do things differently? How can you do what it is that you do even better, right? Who can you reach out to? There's so many times that we look at things and we say, okay, and I really need to reach this person. I really need to reach this client. And I really need to reach, whoever it is, but it's very difficult to reach people. In today's world right now, you can reach just about anybody that you wanted to. If you had access to them before, you can reach them now. Unless you're in the medical field, or unless you're producing manufacturing medical or manufacturing medical devices or something of that nature, or in an essential capacity, even and that really means distribution at this point. That means grocery stores and that sort of thing. But for any other business that's not in that industry, you should be able to reach those people fairly easily, because they're doing a lot of what we're doing, is sheltering at home and being forced to not live your everyday life. So now's the time to reach out to those people, reach out to those customers, reach out and make those strategic acquisitions, those strategic hires, those people that perhaps now are contemplating, man, maybe I'm not going to have this position. Maybe I'm not going to have this job. Maybe if they're already thinking of transitioning from one company to another, one profession into another, whatever it is, now's the time to be out there looking for that, because one man's loss is going to be another man's gain. And now you've got to ask yourself, are you going to be the one that's going to suffer the loss, or are you going to be the one that's going to take advantage of the gain?
I love it. With that being said, I got to get going, by the way. We got Dr. Kenneth out there right now. Helen's watching. What's up, Helen? Michael Sharp back in the house. Pony Chachi is Chachi. I hope I got that right. It's always a pleasure to see you. Oh, Tachachi. That's where it is. It starts with a T. I always get it backwards. It's a pleasure to see you. We're going to get going. We're going to kick off, and we'll be back shortly with the one and only Tony Rodrigues. Let's go, guys. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Show. I made to my mom. I only did this message for one person, and that's my mom. This is for you, Mom. Love you. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Shay Brown.
Mic check, mic check.
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up.
Yes. Yeah.
And they stay there. And they stay there, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win.
Well, it's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue focused late night show in the country, where we're on a mission. And our mission is to empower, our mission is to inspire, and our mission is really to provide you, the entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary really to execute that vision that you have for the people you were called to serve. And I know that you have 3 visions, I like to believe. You have a vision first for yourself, the type of clothes you want to wear, the organic food you want to eat. And that's very important. And others have a vision for your loved one. That's number 2. You have a vision for the people that you want to help. Some of you want to write a check for someone's healthcare insurance right now, and that's important. Some of you want to write a check for someone's mortgage, or you want to just be able to take care of the kids that you want to send to a school of your choice. It takes resources, which means it takes revenue. And then others of you right now, you have a vision for the people you were called to serve. But to execute that, it takes resources. Without resources, you can't do that. So this morning, this evening, this afternoon, whatever time it is for you, wherever you are in the world, we're here with the one and only Tony Rodrigues. What's up, Tony? How you doing, my man?
How's it going, Shay? Doing great, man. Pleasure to be here.
Hey, man, you are one of the reasons that I wanted to have this conversation. I couldn't wait for this conversation because you help folks peak perform. You help folks that are able not only to overcome a setback, but more importantly, to achieve what they want in life. Talk about the importance of having focus now more than ever. I understand we've got to be aware of what's going on. It's a very sensitive situation. I have family members that are impacted. I have friends that are impacted. I have colleagues that are impacted. So these are very tough times. But I know at the same time, folks have to remain as focused as they ever have been in order to really help someone else and move forward. Talk about the power of focus.
Listen, focus is one of the most important things that you have to do in life and in business and in any aspect of your life. These are difficult times. You know, as a matter of fact, an extended family member passed away this morning with that as well. And there's, you know, I know a lot of people that are suffering from that now. And it's tragic. You know, the reality of it is, you know, something that I had heard that Mr. Rogers, from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, said that as a child, when there was bad news, his mom would always say, look for the helpers, right? Look for the helpers. And what that tells me, and that's kind of poignant to what we're talking about now, is what are you focused on, right? What are you focused on? You could either focus on the bad things that are happening, the bad things in life, whether they're happening now or whether they happened in the past. The bad things in life are always there, right? So you can always focus on those, but the good things in life are there as well, right? So you can choose to focus on the good, or you can choose to focus on the bad. You can choose to focus on the problem, or you can choose to focus on the solution. Because if you focus on the problem, if you focus on how things aren't working, then you're not going to find the solution there. You got to look beyond that. You got to look to see, how am I going to solve this problem? What is it that I'm not seeing, right? Because innovation is indeed sparked by necessity. And right now, the necessity is there to be able to innovate, to be able to look at things not worse than they are, not better than they are, but as they are, and not looking at things as they are, but look at things as they could be.
Yeah. Take a moment and talk about Get Up and Grow. Tell us who's that message is for, and then take a moment and give us the backstory. Like, you know, how did you arrive to that philosophy, to that core belief that you have?
So, you know, the message of Get Up and Grow, you know, it's for all of us, right? The reality is, you know, you can get up and grow in life. You can get up and grow in your relationship. You can get up and grow in your business. So it's for every aspect of your life. We have to get up and grow, because everybody falls. Everybody falls. But when you fall, you don't fail. Failure is not getting up. Failure is staying down. And most people do get up. Right. The reality of it is, most people fall and most people get up. Right. But most people just get up and go. They don't get up and grow. And until you get up and grow through what you go through, you're just going to keep going through the same thing over and over again. You know, we've all heard it, you know, especially up here. I think it's an East Coast thing. At least certainly it is a Northeast Coast. Hey, man, what's going on? Same crap, different day. That's what so my new response to that for the last year or so has been, I'm sorry, can I help? I mean, at least let's go through some different crap, you know, experience something else. But if you keep focusing on the same thing, you're going to keep getting the same thing. So, and people that say that, and a lot of people do live that, they keep going through the same thing every day because they're not growing. They're not focusing on growth and getting through whatever it is to get to the next level. You know, and interestingly enough, the way that this came about, I've been hashtagging Get Up and Grow for about 3 years, a little over 3 years. And it happened, it's a conversation that happened about 3 years ago in January. It was probably 3 years in January. And I remember because it was cold, and I got this call at 10:30 at night from a friend who I would occasionally coach, but I would only speak to him in the mornings. And he called me up, and it was already late. So kids were starting to get ready to go to bed. We had just come home from holiday party. And I said, I'm going to take this call in the garage because I didn't want it. The kids were starting to go to bed. And I got a call. I said, hey, man, what's going on? He's like, hey, everything okay? You're calling me so late. He said, and I said, he's like, yeah, man, but I'm going through this and I'm going through that and I'm this and that and the other thing. I said, listen, stop. Are you telling me your story or are you just repeating mine? Because at the time I was 2.5 years into a major legal battle with an ex-business partner that was just doing the wrong thing, and it cost me 7 figures a couple of times. And I was going through that battle. And he says, that's why I'm calling you. How the hell do you stay so positive? How are you so positive and sending positive messages out every day? I said, listen, man, because, attitude is everything. You've got to, how you start your day is going to be how your day is going to go. You've got to get up in the morning with gratitude. You got to get up. You got to do your morning routine, your incantations and everything else. He says, yeah, but how did you do it? I said, well, 2.5 or 3 years ago, whatever it was at that time, I said, 2.5 years ago, life was good and I was comfortable. I was comfortable, but I wasn't. But I was comfortable. I was making enough money. Life was good enough, and I was comfortable. And then, bang, my partner decided to blow everything up because of some things that were going on in his life. And and for the first time, and I don't usually bring any kind of religion into any kind of coaching practice unless I know that someone is going to be moved by that. Or I know something in detail. And I says, the minute I got hit, boom, God said grow. And I said no. And there was pain. And then the next day, God said grow. And I said no. And there was more pain. And then God said grow. And I said no. And I must have said this 10, 15 times. And he just wasn't saying anything. I was just on this rant that I don't even know where it came from. And through all this, my son opens the door, says, good night, Dad. I said, all right, good night. Don't forget to brush your teeth. And he went upstairs. I get back on the phone and my friend says, hey, keep reading. I said, keep reading what? He says, whatever you were reading. I said, I wasn't reading anything. What are you talking about? He said, well, just keep talking. I said, do me a favor. I forgot what I was saying, right? I completely lost the thought. Mm-hmm. And he says, well, I don't know. You were on this thing of, God, and you said, no, and I picked up that thread again. And I kept going. And I said, and then there was more pain. And God said, grow, and I said, no. And at one point, about 9 months later, I went away with my family for 2 weeks to a family wedding. And at that time, I realized, what am I doing? Because I'm the fixer. I thought everything, I was going to be able to fix whatever this was. I thought it was just a miscommunication because he was going through a divorce, whatever. And he was my friend since we were, for 35 years. Yeah, we were friends and partners for over 25. And I'm a fixer, so I said, I can fix this. And then it came to me, I can't fix this. This is really going on. I was looking at things better than they were, not as they were. And the moment I realized that, I grew and the pain went away. For about a month until then he sued and lies and all these things came up and boom, God said grow and I said no, and God said grow and I said no, and God said grow and I said no. And I told him, I said, this is the pain that you're feeling is because God is telling you to grow and you're saying no. You're refusing to accept what's going on in your life. And until you grow, you're going to keep feeling that pain. And then he thanked me and it was pretty profound. He called me the next day and I said, to be honest with you, I don't even really remember where that even came from or how that came about. And it's kind of fuzzy what happened last night because it was just something that kind of came through me. I know not to sound, too spiritual or whatever, because again, I never inject any kind of religion into my coaching, but the fascinating thing was it was only about 3 months later that I was sharing that story with someone, and I realized that story, while it came through me for him, was actually for me. Only then, even though I was giving him the coaching, only then did I realize that I suffered all that time because I refused to grow. Even though I had said that to him, I only realized it 2 or 3 months later that story was meant for me. And at that point, I started hashtagging, we've got to get up and grow. It doesn't matter how many times you fall. You can fall down 7 times, because I say it all the time at the end of my shows. I say that, life is not about how many times you fall. It's about getting up after every fall. Because you fall down 7 times, you get up 8, or you fall down 8 times, you get up 9, and you keep getting up. Right? This because we had some technical difficulties last time, and this time getting on. I'm a bad quitter. I don't. It's just not how I roll. I'm a bad quitter. And again, we need to not just get up. It's when we fall, we learn, and we get up. When we get up, we grow. But most people don't grow. They just keep going through, and they keep suffering through it. So the purpose of my life is to help ease suffering. If I can help people turn decades into days and have different perspectives on how to look at life and what happened in the past, and help them realize that life is happening for us and preparing us for what the future holds for us, preparing us for what it is that we've asked for. And in business, it's no different. Sometimes we face those struggles, we face those challenges because maybe it's just life, the universe, God, whatever you want to refer to it as, preparing you for what's coming. Because I say it all the time, fail quickly, fail forward and fail quickly. And I'm very okay with taking 2 steps forward or 3 steps forward or 1 step back, because that means I'm still 1 or 2 steps ahead from where I started. But you got to dare to suck. You got to be willing to fail. You got to be willing to take the hits. You got to be willing to make the mistakes, right? Mm-hmm. And fail forward and fail quickly. Mm-hmm. And it's about getting up every time you fall, but be willing to fall, because it's those that are afraid to fall that sometimes hang on to something that they're meant to let go of. Mm-hmm. Right? And eventually they're causing more damage, because when you fall, you can get up again. If you're just hanging on to that barbed wire, we've all seen that graphic. You're holding on to that barbed wire because you don't want to fall. You're ripping your hands apart. And then when you finally fall, now you're more injured than you were before, than you would have been had you just let go and start falling down and gotten up again. Many times we don't want to do that because pride is in the way, mm-hmm. right? And that's an entrepreneurial challenge that many of us have. And I know that I've done that before, is I don't want to fail. I don't want to fall. Perception of what other people think and whatever it is. Sometimes we don't want to let go of stuff. We hang on to things for too long that were meant to be let go of a long time ago. And that sometimes will cost us our business. That sometimes will cost us our future.
And when it costs us our future, for those folks that are listening right now, those entrepreneurs that are out there, you're like, you know what? It's time for me to get up and grow. Just look right below the video and write that down. Hashtag GetUpN, grow. And that is so important. If you had to share like 3 steps for them to do, you say, you know what? Okay, some of you got to get up, and some of you have to grow. For the person that has to get to that next level, they're like, you know what? I get it. My mindset is there. I believe it's possible. So I'm already believe. But what is maybe step 1, step 2, step 3 that I should take now that I'm ready to go up to an entirely different level? Because I've already raised my belief standards. Now I got to take action. What 3 action steps would you suggest to someone right now?
Well, number 1, depending where you are in business, and this obviously isn't going to apply necessarily to everyone, right? Because there's people at different stages in their business. Number 1, if you're struggling right now, own where you are. Take ownership, fix whatever it is that you need to be fixed. Because if something isn't working, you already know it's not working. Take action on it. What's more important? Is it the person that you failed to fire, or the person that you failed to hire, or the person that you failed to fire? And I'll answer that, or Shay, if you want to answer that, what do you think that is? The person that you failed to hire, or the person you failed to fire?
Person I failed to fire.
That's right. Because if you make the right hire, you still have the wrong person in your organization. Mm-hmm. If you have that cancer, if you have a cancer, you don't go in and take a little bit of it out, or you don't throw, more good things at the fire, so to speak. You got to turn out the fire, right? You got to put out the fire. You've got to take care of things. So look in your organization and see what needs to be rearranged. And sometimes the person you need to fire, by the way, is yourself. And I'm not saying that you fire yourself out of your company. Sometimes that is necessary, right, for the growth of the company. But I'm talking about maybe you need to fire yourself as the secretary, or you need to fire yourself as the bookkeeper, or you need to fire yourself as the manager, right? Because so many of us are struggling, trying to be proficient and get good at something that we don't like to do, that we don't need to do, right? Gary Vee says it all the time. Stop working on your weaknesses. Focus on your strengths, because your strengths are what's going to bring in the revenue. The weaknesses are what's going to keep. Listen, stop doing that $10 an hour job, that $15 an hour job. Hire somebody to do that and bring in the revenue that you need to bring in, because so many times we get caught up in the minutia of it. So fire yourself is probably one of the things that many of us may have to do. And I've had to do that in the past, right? And that means stop micromanaging, stop trying to do it all yourself. You can't do it all yourself. So that's number one. Number two, who is it that you're hiring? Because, as they say, you need to try to always hire your replacement. Hire the person that's going to be able to take over for you, because the purpose of being an entrepreneur, being a business owner, isn't to be self-employed. It's to own a business. And most people own a job, right? Getting to the point where you can automate your business so that you don't have to be there each and every day, and that the business will run even if you're not there. So it's about figuring out the systems, putting in systems and processes in place so that, the business can work with or without you. And that usually requires you to make innovation. You got to innovate. You've got to have strategic hires, and you've got to really have a vision for your future, which would be probably be number one. Or number two is, what's the vision that you have for your business? Is it just to draw that salary that, hey, this is how much I'm going to make? Or is there a bigger vision? Because having a vision is essential. Where is it that you really want to go? Is it just to make the money, or is there a mission that you're trying to fulfill? Or is it just about you, or is it about your employees? Is it about your product? Is it about making a difference in the community? What is it that you're striving for? What's your why? Right? Figuring out your why and going for it. And again, it really is about focusing on what it is that the outcome is going to be. Where is it that you need to get to? Where must you get? E.T., I love listening to him sometimes. I haven't heard him in a while. Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher, right? He says, I will because I can. Wait, how was it? I will because I can, because I have the skills. I will because people are counting on me. I will be. I'm screwing this one up. I will because
I have time to remember which one.
I can, and I must because there are people counting on me. There's somebody out there counting on you. There's your family member. There's somebody counting on you to be successful. There's someone out there counting on you for your service, for your product. There's employees counting on you. There's people out there counting on you. So what is your why? Why are you in business? Are you in business just to have a job? Are you in business to succeed? Are you in business to make a difference? It's figuring out what your why is and going after that. Because if you don't have a why, then you're just pushing. You're pushing forward. When you have a why, a mission that's maybe bigger than you, then it becomes a pull. And it's a lot easier to be pulled than it is to push all the time. Because when you're just pushing, you get tired. When you're pulling, you're being drawn to it, right? It's attracting you, and you're attracting it.
I like that. How does Tony handle with so many things going on? If you say, okay, you got to do this, you got to do that. The question is going to be centered around, how do you handle dealing with so many priorities at one time? I know it's never about time management. It's about time choices. But how do you go about prioritizing and managing so many different tasks going on, as well as, the phone rings, like you said, and I have folks that are being impacted, and someone's being impacted. I got to grab that call. Then I get back to work, and wait, there's a text message. Something's going on over here. Got to get back, and then I'm trying to focus. Oh, there's an email, and I'm currently constantly being pulled. How does Tony Rodrigues handle time?
I will say that is an ongoing project, and we're all growing through what we go through, right? We're all a masterpiece and a work in progress at the same time. So I'd love to tell you that I always have it on point. That would not be an accurate statement, because in this time that everybody's supposed to have all this extra time, I really don't. As you know, you're doing 3-4 shows a day sometimes, or you're doing 2 or 3, and you're on this webinar, on this Zoom call, and again, your phone is ringing. You've got commitments with family, and there's always something going on. Listen, I've got a project ongoing right now outside. I've got a ton of things that I've got going on. I will say that I do have an administrative assistant. So I've got an assistant that does help me with a lot of that. And it's not and I recommend everyone have someone that helps them and supports them in that. And it can just be a virtual assistant, somebody that's doing some of those things for you. Again, like I said, you've got to fire yourself or a component of what it is that you do. Somebody that's going to help you streamline some of the things that you don't need to do, right? And that's something that I would really recommend doing. The other thing is I try to prioritize and do the things that are most important first, because everybody says, well, I'm out of time. I didn't have time. A comment that I read, and I don't know who wrote it, so I'm not going to give anyone credit. I've seen it with different people's names on it, so I'm not going to give anyone credit on it. I will just say that it is not an original statement of mine. And that is, instead of saying that I didn't have time, try saying I didn't make it a priority, and see how that feels.
I didn't make it a priority, and see how that feels.
How that feels.
Mm-hmm.
You say, oh, I'm sorry, I ran out of time. I didn't have time. Okay, well, switch that and say, I didn't make it a priority. Mm-hmm. And how does that feel? Now, to some, it may not feel that important, but if it's because because you missed an event with one of your kids, or you missed a special event with someone that you made a promise to, and now you switch the words, instead of making the excuse to them and to yourself that you didn't have time, change it up and say, I didn't make it a priority, and see how that feels. Now that stings. That stings. The one thing that I'm working on, and I think all of us as entrepreneurs and business owners really need to start doing, we need to start saying no more. And that does go against some of the things that I say all the time. I love Richard Branson's line that says, if somebody offers you a great opportunity, take it, say yes, even if you don't know how, and figure it out later. And while I live by that principle in one way, and I'm all about listening to an opportunity, I'm learning and I'm getting better at saying no. Because the more no's you give people, the more no's you say, the more yeses you can say to the things that really matter. The more yes to say, yes, son, I can go to your fencing match. Yes, son, I can go to watch this, or I can go to do this. Because the more yeses you say for everyone else, the more no's you've got to say to yourself.
I like it.
Learn to say more no's to be able to say yes to the things that really matter. In other words, stop overcommitting, because I do that all the time, by the way. I overcommit. Mm-hmm. And at some point, and then, the problem with that is, you commit and you're a hero. And then when you can't when you can't show up for something, then you're the zero. So I'd rather, you've got to learn how to say no more often so that you have room for the yes.
Mm-hmm. Love it, man. I love it. Let's segue if we can. One of our core values here, and we're going to keep rolling at the Happy Entrepreneur Show, is today is my January 1st. And what's one of our core beliefs? And for those folks that are hearing it for the first time, we're going to explain it to you. And for those folks that know exactly what we're talking about, you can look below the video and write, today is my January 1st. And for those folks that are hearing it for the first time, today is my January 1st represents that moment where you make a decision. And there's probably 1,000+ moments throughout the day. And that decision can forever change the trajectory of your life. You either make a decision and you decide, I'm going to go work out because it's that time, or you go sit on a couch and you watch Netflix, or you decide to yourself, I'm going to have hamburgers and French fries, or you go to the refrigerator, you open it up and you look inside and there's some broccoli. That's good. There's some spinach. I'll take a little bit of that. There's some kale and there's some carrots, and you feel good about it. And so it's a do-over. It's a second chance. It's a clean slate. My question to Tony is, Tony, when you hear those words, today is my January 1st, what does it mean to you?
Well, today's my January 1st means, every day is an opportunity to start over. One thing that I like to say is that your past does not equal your future. And something that I actually posted today, I think it was today that I posted, was, as a matter of fact, let me just pull it up. A great future does not require a great past. Your past was a bruise, not a tattoo. What happened yesterday is in the past. You don't live there. You don't live there. you live today and you live for tomorrow. So every day you have an opportunity to start over. Every day and every breath you take is an opportunity to be and do better. One of the things that Maya Angelou said, and I love it, it says, you do the best you can with what you know until you know better, then you do better. So every day and every breath you take is an opportunity to be the best version of you and to do better than you did yesterday. Listen, as far as I'm concerned, the only competition I have and I've ever had, even when I thought I had competition, is with the person I was yesterday, which with the version of me that I was yesterday. And I will tell you this, that the you of tomorrow has a price, and it's going to cost you the who you are today and who you were yesterday. So the fact that today's your January 1st, I love that. I told you I love that when I first saw you wearing that shirt, is every day is an opportunity for a new start. Every day we all have an opportunity with every breath we take to be a better version and to start, to make amends, to apologize, to start over, to make things right, and to do and take the actions necessary for our business, for our family, for our future. That's what today's my January 1st means to me.
Powerful. You know, as folks are writing, today is my January 1st, and they get excited. I mean, I get excited every time I even say today is my January 1st. We know it's all about taking action, right? Because the universe rewards people who take action differently than those that don't. So what do you say to the person out there on how they can be consistent? Because they're happy, just like they were back on December 31st, after a couple of drinks on the back of a napkin, they started writing down their resolutions. And most of them, I don't know if you know this, by the way, January 17th is National Ditch Your Resolution Day, right? So a number of folks ditch their resolutions. You can go Google that on January the 17th. What do you tell your clients in order for them to be consistent, in order for them to hashtag stay the course?
So, all right. So I'll share a story. And again, you got to keep me on schedule because I can run a little long. I'll share a story of a client that I was working with that she called me. She says, listen, I don't feel like I'm succeeding, because I don't get to do all of these things that I want to do every day. And I said, well, tell me what, because I have a morning routine and I share my morning routine with people. And, she tells me what she needs to do, that she needs to do 30 minutes of meditation, 30 minutes of prayer. She needs to do 30 minutes of exercise. She needs to do, she needs to do this, that, and everything else. And I looked at it, I said, what you're telling me is that in order for you to feel accomplished, you need to do 2 to 3 hours of a routine every morning for you to feel that you've accomplished something. And she's like, yeah. And I said, and how's that working out? Not good. And, breaking down, I said, okay, so here's what you need to do. Number one, you need to start small. Do one thing every single day, do it well, and then recognize and reward yourself for it. And tomorrow, maybe you do something else. And you do 2 things, and maybe you do 2 things for 3 or 4 days, and then you add a 3rd thing and a 4th thing. As the time goes on, you add things on to what it is that you're doing. You don't try to, how do you eat an elephant? It ain't with 1 bite or 2 bites. It's 1 bite at a time. So you've got to approach that with forming the right habits. Listen, your habits, your what's the word? Basically your habits become, your rituals become your habits, and your habits become who you are. At the end of the day, it's who you are. So I encourage everybody to have a morning routine and to add to it as necessary, but don't try to do it all at once because you're going to fail. And the thing to remember is to reward yourself after doing the right things. But have a morning routine, stick to it. And if you mess up and you don't do it today, then do it again tomorrow. Commit to something. One of the things I'm doing this year is, aside from committing to doing a show every single day, as you know, you were on it 2 weeks ago, is I committed to doing a live video every single day this year. So today was day 100 of 366 days. Well, yesterday, or the day before yesterday, I forgot to do it. It was day 98. So when I went on last night, I realized, oh my God, today's 99. So it was already 11:30 at night. About the time it was now, and I did 98 this morning, and I owned it. I said, listen, it's supposed to be 99, today's 98, and tomorrow I'm going to do 99 and 100. And this morning I did 99, and in the afternoon I did 100. So Commit to doing something and then own the mistake, make amends, and move on. But owning our mistakes is so pivotal. And understand that we are all a masterpiece and a work in progress at the same time. We all make mistakes. We all fall down, and failure is not in falling down. Failure is in staying down. So you've just got to keep getting up. You've got to keep getting up. And as long as you keep getting up, as long as you keep trying, you have not failed. You've just figured a way that you're not going to do it again, right? And the first time is a mistake. The second time might be a mistake. Third time, it's a choice. So make better choices and commit to something. And every single day, honor the commitment. And I will tell you this, and I don't know how much time I've got, but I'll say this. You know, this is the talk that I give to kids. I gave this talk to kids in high school, and this is the same talk that I give to people. I said a lot of people suffer from self-esteem and low self-worth. And there is a way to build that. And the reason that gets eroded is because, you know, what happens if I told you, listen, I'm going to be here at 11 o'clock, and then I wasn't here? And I called you later. I'm sorry, I missed 11 o'clock. I'll be here tomorrow at 11 o'clock. And tomorrow at 11 o'clock, I don't show up again. It starts to erode your confidence in me. And they say, but I'll be here. I swear I'll be here on Saturday. And come Saturday, whether I show up or not, I show up, you're actually surprised. But either way, you know that I'm not reliable. So you can't confide in me. You don't have the trust in my word and my commitment, right? And that's how our confidence your confidence in me is eroded. Same thing happens with us when we make commitments. Like you said, by January 17th, everybody breaks their commitments or their New Year's resolutions. Well, guess what? Every time you break a resolution, every time you break a promise to yourself, you erode your self-confidence, you erode your self-esteem. And that costs you in business, both with your customers, but most importantly with you, because it's important to keep your word with your customers and your clients and your loved ones and your family. But it's even, I dare say, even more important to keep the commitments and the promises you make to yourself.
I like that, the promise you make to yourself.
Yeah, because if you don't, that's where you start having self-confidence issues, self-image, because now your subconscious, you say something, your subconscious says, bullshit, you're not going to do it. I can't trust you because you never come through on the promises that you make to me. Right, the promises you make to yourself. So that's where your self-confidence gets eroded. Now, I will say this: the easy fix for that: start making small promises to yourself, micro commitments, and fulfill those. You know what? Every day I'm going to drink 3 bottles of water, 6 bottles of water, whatever it is, and you drink them and recognize yourself that yes, I committed to doing that. Hey, every day I'm going to make 5 phone calls to 5 new prospective clients. And do that and reward yourself every single day. And if you miss today, don't beat yourself up. Tomorrow, do 10. Right? And that's how you build your self-confidence. That's how you build your self-esteem, by getting back on track, by getting back on the wagon every time you fall off, right? And you build your self-esteem that way. I say that, I teach that to kids. I teach that to my clients. It's the same principle.
I love it, man. I love it. I love where you are. For those folks that are watching and listening right now, we're with the one and only Tony. He just says one of the few times we just kept on rolling because he's right on the money. And the stories, no, man, this is just perfect. This is good. This, you know, one of the things I love about you, man, you said we can just have a conversation. We ain't got to follow no questions. We don't have to. We can just talk and share real ideas for real people who have real problems, who are looking for real solutions. And isn't that what you're really doing right now? And that is so true. Yeah. We're going to a segment called Rapid Fire. And Rapid Fire is where we get to ask you any questions on our heart, and you can answer it or not answer it. And then we'll give you a chance to have your closing comment. But one of the questions I have is, of all the mentors that you've had along your journey, and you've had a chance to work with some of the best, what is one of the lessons you've learned from any of your mentors in your journey of life that you can share with us that can make a difference for us?
I'll tell you what, I mean, hands down, that's Tony Robbins, right? He's been my mentor for 20 plus years. And I will say this, I told you guys a story of the car accident that I had on my 18th birthday. And I will say this, for years, while I decided that if I was going to die tomorrow, I would live today, I still cursed the accident, because I still live in pain today from that car accident, because it was a pretty substantial hit. And, you know, I would say, why did this happen to me? And even when I was seeing success, I would say I'd give everything that I have up to not have suffered that accident, to not still feel the pain that I've gotten, to not have the memory losses, some of the memory issues that I still deal with today. And I said I'd give anything for that. And then I met Tony, and I started doing the work with Tony Robbins. And I almost realized almost exactly when I remember. I was 30 years old, and I still had that pattern running my life of that accident was terrible. My childhood sucked. All those things that were happening. And, there's something that he says, that life is happening for you, not to you. Life is happening for you, not to you. And that's when I realized that, we've got to be grateful for the good, the bad, and especially the ugly in our life. Because you and I, my friends, and everyone that's watching, we're a compilation of our life's experiences. The good, the bad, and especially the ugly, because it's the days that break you that are the days that make you. Those are the days that shape who you are. And if you're watching this, congratulations, because you survived 100% of the worst days of your life, and they've made you stronger for it. So I realized that on my 18th birthday, when I had that massive car accident that basically took my life, I realized that accident didn't knock me off course. It knocked me onto my course, because I wouldn't be the man I am today had that not happened. I was a shy kid. I didn't have many friends. I was quiet. I was a completely different person. You wouldn't know me had I not had that accident. So that accident knocked me onto my course. It didn't knock me off course. So I'm grateful today for that accident, because it made me who I am. I'm grateful for the difficult childhood, because it's made me a better father. It's made me a better husband. It's made me appreciate much more of what life has to offer. So Tony Robbins, without a doubt, that life is happening for you, not to you. Yeah. And we've got to be grateful for all of it.
Yeah. How does Tony define success these days?
Well, my definition of success, well, right now he'd probably say that to live in a beautiful state, because he's on that trajectory of living in a beautiful state. But my definition of success was that I heard on a one-day event, which before I really started going to the events, because I was 24 years old, and I didn't, I had already bought my first house, but I didn't have a lot of money. I was still kind of living on a tight budget. I opened my own real estate office when I was 25, but at 24, I was still kind of, trying to figure myself out. But I remember his definition of success. Success is it's financial freedom, being able to do what you want, when you want, with whoever you want, for as long as you want. Now, if you're a married man, with whoever you want comes into question. But with that said, to do what you want, when you want, with whoever you want, for as long as you want, is financial independence, and to be able to contribute and do whatever it is at will, without wondering, where the next payment or check is coming in.
Yeah,
that was his definition of success. Today, I would venture to say that it's to live in a beautiful state, is what he says. And in my definition of success at this point is just if I'm financial independence, and if I'm happy and joyful, then I'm succeeding, because that means that nobody around me is suffering.
Yeah. That's a blessing all by itself, a true blessing. I want to thank you, Tony, for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. Before we get to your final thoughts, how can people connect with you? I mean, you've been just like a machine over there, going, which is cool. How can folks connect with you that are listening right now? What's the best way for them to connect with you?
All right, so on Instagram, you can find me at Tony Rodrigues with an S, Tony Rodrigues 2.0, which is a play on the fact that I'm living at least my second life. So Tony Rodrigues 2.0 on Instagram. On Facebook, I am Tony Rodrigues. Actually, the best way would be GetUpNGrow with Tony Rodrigues. You can also email me at Tony@GetUpNGrow.com. That's GetUp, the letter N.com.
Oh man, that's super cool, man. You are a rock star. I love it. Say the last one. You broke up the last one you gave us. You broke up just a little bit. Say it one more time. They didn't get that.
It's Tony@GetUpNGrow.com, but it's not and. It's GetUp, the letter N, grow.com. So it's GetUpNGrow.com.
Love it, man. Once again, let me say thank you so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. We appreciate you. Appreciate you serving. Appreciate you showing up. Appreciate you just giving of your talent. I mean, this has like been a behind the scene, personal, one-on-one, not only conversation, but a whole session by itself. Take a moment, if you will, and go ahead and share your final thoughts. We got to have you back, man. What are your final thoughts to empower, to encourage folks so they can go out there and really grow and, get up and grow up?
That's it. Get up and grow. Well, listen, I say that in the times that we're facing right now, it's a difficult times, difficult challenges, and it's scary, and there is cause for concern. But I would say that that fear and faith both require you to believe in something that you cannot see. So I would challenge you, and I would ask that you believe in yourself. You believe in a brighter tomorrow. You believe in a better tomorrow and on what it is that can be. And don't live in fear, but live in faith, and know that everything is going to be okay. Know that tomorrow the sun will shine. Doesn't matter how dark things may happen in your life right now. That there is light at the end of the tunnel, and that there is always, always, always somebody out there that's willing to help you. And to that end, make sure that you're being kind. Kindness is king. Be kind to others, and more importantly, be kind to yourself.
Yeah, be kind to yourself. With that being said, you just finished with the one and only Tony. Let me once again say thank him. I want all of you out there to let you know we appreciate you. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for hitting the heart button. Thanks for hitting the share button. Thanks for telling your friends all about it. I want you to know that you're amazing. You're incredible. You've got greatness inside you. And for you, today is your January 1st. You're going to get up and grow up. Today is your January 1st. You're going to find that peak state that you want. And today is your January 1st. The best is still yet to come. With that being said, my name, by the way, is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. And I promise you, we're going to make some good things happen. We connect again next time. Remember, time is long. Life is short. Live in the moment and enjoy it. God bless, and I wish you success. Thanks a lot, Tony, man. You're a rock star. Appreciate you.
Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you.
It's a pleasure. I made to my mom. I only did this message for one person, and that's my mom. This is for you, Mom. Love you. My name is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Shay Brown.
Mic check, mic check.
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up.
Yes. Yeah.
And they stay there, and they stay there, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win. If you're doing it, put your hands.
Thank you. God bless.